Jamie, we're back with the ER500 build, and this is what we're doing in today's episode.
So guys, this is the mount that the tank sits on. I think it also holds down the airbox. So what this also does is it sets the height of the tank. Once I've chopped the frame and made it flat, that tank's gonna sit just a little bit high for me. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do some measuring and see how much lower I want it to be. I don't know if you can see, but the back end of the tank sort of swoops up a bit, and I just want it to sit a little bit lower, so that line of the tank sits flush with the flat of the actual bike itself. So we're just gonna have a play around and see how much lower I want this. So all I did was turn up that plate upside down for the tank to rest on, and that seems close to what I'd like it to be. Maybe just a little bit lower, so I'm gonna see if there's anything else I can just prop it up on to get the level to get this line flat. So there's nothing actually there now. It's just resting, and I've kind of pressed the tank down. It's just held on by rubber grommets on the front. But as you can see, that line is now more flat. I would like it to sit maybe a little bit lower, so somewhere like there. So when I build the new rear subframe, I'm gonna see how, I'm gonna go from about this point to this point, but it's just gonna be a flat bar pretty much. Obviously within clearance of the back wheel, and then obviously I'm gonna have to put a plate for the tank to screw down onto, but I'm gonna make sure that I've got it low enough or high enough that the tank sits in line of how I want it to look. So guys, as you can see, I've just moved the tank to how I would like it, and that sits quite low. I think it has just risen up a bit. So somewhere along there, I like, as you can tell, just the line is kind of now flat instead of swooped up. So I'm just gonna take a measurement from the old mount to the current, where it currently is, so I can see how much of a drop that needs to be, as I plan on using the old rear subframe to make my new subframe. So yeah. So what I've done is I've just placed the tank on just a bit of scrap steel that I have, and put the old mount roughly where it's going to be. I'm just going to measure it with some vernier calipers. So I'm just going to get in here, just like this, and roughly, so that's about 55.5. I think we'll call it 55. So I'm going to drop the tank by 45 mils once the new frame is welded up. My plans are to chop it about here. So I'm going to chop off this part here, so then I don't have to play around with the shocks. The shocks are already mounted in the geometry that they already are. So it's just going to be getting rid of this bit. I'll chop roughly there. I'll chop here. So then this whole top bit comes off, and I'll be going from here to about here, which will give me the base for my tank, and then I'll have my flat for my seat. These are the foot pedals on the bike. I won't be having a pillion seat, so it's just gonna be a foot pedal for me. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna be able to reuse these, so I'm gonna take these off and just measure up and draw how I want the foot pedals to sit and mount. They're gonna sit in the same place, just I'm gonna get rid of the second foot pedal. I'm just gonna draw up a shape of how I'm gonna cut this. Something that I like to do is, with other builds that I've done, is when you're taking things off and putting things on, it's very easy to forget where parts go. So things like this, where it's not gonna matter if I put the bolts back in, I'm gonna just thread the bolts back into the holes that they came out of, as these will be off for quite a while and I don't wanna lose the bolts that they go into. I'm gonna do the same with the other side, and this way, when I'm chopping up the frame, I'm not gonna cut anything off that I actually need, because there's something mounted into it, and I'll go, okay, So that's still needed, because a lot of the mounts I'm planning on getting rid of if I don't need them. So this is the foot pedals, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the pedals off, and just with a paint marker, I'm just going to roughly draw a design that I like that will eventually be cut out, and then I'll paint it back on the bike. So I'm just going to time lapse me taking this apart. Put that back on. So the shape that I drew up on the bench I didn't really like, so what I've done is I've put them back on. I'm just gonna have a play with, so I still want to get rid of this bit and all of this, but it's just the shape of what's going to be left is the part that I'm going to have a play with. I think I wanted to follow the curvature of the frame, so to come down about here. Yeah, about there. And then, so maybe something like, so I'm no expert when it comes to cutting metal. And I played one of these for about 5 minutes on a bit of scrap metal I have. So this could potentially go very, very wrong. So what I've done is I've taken the majority of it off, and then I got a bench grinder, and I'm just gonna finish up on the bench grinder. The bench grinder isn't really touching it, I'm not sure why, and it's very hot. So it looks like I'm just gonna have to learn to use a hand grinder. Practice. Okay, so the bit that I'm now going to struggle with is, I don't know if you can see, but that's a lip. I've now got to try and match it. Yeah, this isn't going to be fun. So the camera wasn't recording, so what I did was I took this diameter, I halved it, which gave me this line. Width, sorry, not diameter. This width, halved it, which gave me this line. I then took this width, which is about 13 millimeters, and put it on this line, painted this side and scored it like that. Then used a punch and scored it again. This should hopefully give me the same degree angle as this one on this side, but it's also going to test my engineering abilities and my abilities to use an angle grinder, because this is my first attempt, so let's see. So guys, I would say that is a pretty good first attempt at, let's see if we can get it locked onto this.
So it's a little bit low at the front here. I don't like that it's got that hook in it, as you can see. So what I might do, what we're going to do is we're going to put it back on the bike and see how it looks.
So guys, that's what it looks like. I think that looks quite clean, to be honest. Like I said, I don't like the hook in the top. But I think I might get someone to fill it with weld and then I can reshape it. I really like the look of them. That's like sprayed black. I think that'll look really good. Right, so this is the right side foot peg, but we have the rear back brake pedal, which I didn't really think of. So we need this bit here and this bit. So it's just going to be a slightly different shape. I don't know if you can see that. It's roughly in line. It's just going to come out a bit here, which I don't really mind. So what we're going to do is we'll cut it up and then we'll do the same thing to get the angle on that side, and then we'll see how that looks. So I've got the rough shape. This is pretty much the shape I want. That line is from before I took it off. I just put it on the bike and it does look okay. So what's next is to get this curve. So I'm just going to do the same thing as before. So again with this one, I'm going to get these holes filled and then we'll try again. But like I say, I think that I'd say it's pretty darn good. I think this side looks lower just because it's got the metal under it. But I mean, I think that for a first attempt using an angle grinder, that wasn't so bad. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I can now start really cracking on. The more that I do this build, the more ideas I'm getting. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Drop a like as it really does help, and I'll see you in the next one.